Is 2020 really doomed? Hi everyone! Welcome to Practical Wisdom. As promised, we're going to present our take on the basic facts about the economic crisis that's being discussed by many experts around the world. Although we agree that facts are important, not being able to fully understand the big picture because of complex terminologies can really mess up people's morale and productivity. In this video, we are going to unmask fear to better prepare ourselves for the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic in the Philippine business setting. Here's the hard truth. We are already experiencing an economic crisis and it's happening globally. One of the biggest reasons why we are so stressed, uneasy, and fearful, it's because of the high level of uncertainty with what we're facing now. Many of us have been in the dark for too long, not fully understanding the implications of the series of events that shook the whole world in just a matter of months. In early February, the effects of the global supply chain disruption were already felt as China struggled to contain the coronavirus outbreak. As a result, many companies around the world who are into manufacturing decided to suspend their work in their factories as they could not get their raw materials from China. Imagine the domino effect on all the other industries. And in March 11, the COVID-19 outbreak was declared a pandemic, which has led us to where we are now, in a lockdown economy. The effect on consumer spending has been catastrophic. Many have expressed concern and worry about a looming recession or possibly even a depression by the media. Are we really doomed? Let's unmask fear by being familiar with the terms being thrown at us repeatedly: economic recession and depression. Let's take a look at the definitions of these two. A recession happens when a country's economy goes on a decline for 2 consecutive quarters. In other words, 6 months. Now, a country's economy is measured by GDP, or Gross Domestic Product, which is actually the total value of all the goods and services produced in that country. Simply put, GDP is used to measure or determine how wealthy a country is. Take, for example, the US, the largest economy in the world, has over $20 billion in GDP, compared to China, the second largest, is in the 14 trillion mark, while the Philippines has $370 billion in GDP. In essence, a drop in GDP is bad, while a growth in GDP is good. A depression, on the other hand, is actually a recession that lasts 2 years with the GDP declining by at least 10%. In the US, their last depression was recorded in October of 1929, and it's been about 90 years, and they've had many recessions since. While in the Philippines, our last recorded depression was from 1983 to 1985, with our GDP shrinking by almost 20%. And it's been 35 years since. So, in essence, a depression is actually far more uncommon and lasts longer. So, where are we headed now? Well, technically speaking, a recession can't be defined until after half a year has passed, while a depression can almost never be identified until after it has happened. But based on the events that's taking place in our country, we are already experiencing our own economic downturn with businesses shutting down and declines in consumer spending. It will definitely have a negative impact on our GDP. But downturns are a regular and normal part of the economic cycle, which is a wave-like pattern of ups and downs, expansions and contractions, because it's alive and it's based on movement of goods and services. To get a better understanding of the economic cycle, picture it as a wave. Now, this is where we were before this crisis, but when the pandemic came, the government had to take necessary measures to contain its spread, which has caused damage to our economy, making our GDP drop. If this continues for 6 months, then we enter into recession. If the drop continues on longer and reaches the 10% threshold drop in GDP, then we would have officially entered into a depression. Now, what we do as a country together will determine whether we will stay in recession for a long time or nosedive into a depression until we bounce our way back into recovery with an upward growth trajectory. As we navigate our way out of this major crisis, there will be casualties. Think of it this way. We are already at war right at this very moment. The world as we know it is under attack. And as with any war, when all of this is over, things will never be the same again. There will be extreme losses during the fight for survival. There will be companies who will be closing down permanently, and as a result, many people will lose their jobs. So, the big question, are we truly doomed then? No, not at all. You see, there will be 3 outcomes for all companies in this crisis. 1, there will be those who cannot survive and close down. 2nd, there will be those who will find a way to survive this. And the 3rd one, wait for it, there will be companies who will learn to recognize the wave of opportunities that this crisis brings, and they will ride it to become even bigger and better than ever. Let me explain. The market share of those companies who will go extinct will be served by the remaining players in their respective industries. And the surplus in talent will level the playing field for everyone. It will be a tough challenge for the remaining players, but that's just how things are. It's survival of the fittest once again as we enter into a new era of economic evolution. There will be a shift in the flow of prosperity, talent, and skills. We will go through a new process of adjustment, healing, and recovery. But there will be pain. There's just no escaping it. And since there are 2 sides to any equation, there will also be opportunities springing for those who are ready to seize their fair share. we're not really doomed. We're just entering a new world. A world that requires people to let go of the old systems and embrace creativity, inventiveness, and adaptability. The sooner we accept that the wave of change is already here, the faster we can take the necessary steps needed to improve ourselves, systems, and processes. Bear in mind that we Filipinos have overcome several crises that have befallen us throughout history. We will come out of this bigger, stronger, and better than ever. Kaya natin to. If you want to fast-track your acceptance of our new situation, our next video will help you gain the momentum needed to get up, make the first move, and beat this crisis now. Everything starts here. You have to take care of your mindset, as it affects your emotions, which greatly influences your actions. As I always say in my seminars, change the mindset, you change the attitude. When you change the attitude, behavior follows. Let us all adapt to the kind of behaviors that will give us the full advantage in this economic evolution. Learn, adapt, and evolve in order for us to thrive and not just survive. Well, that's all for this episode. Thank you for watching. But I want to know what you think. Leave me some comments below. I also want to hear suggestions about future topics. And if you're watching for the first time, thank you. Please make sure to subscribe to get the latest free training video uploads to help you remain sharp and stay ahead. Until next time, this is Practical Wisdom, signing off.